This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Aaron Mate.
Well, the annual shareholders meeting of the retail giant Walmart was held last week in the company's home state of Arkansas. Thousands of Walmart workers were flown in for a week-long celebration of the world's largest retailer. In some ways, it resembled a major Hollywood event. The singers Jennifer Hudson, Elton John, Kelly Clarkson, and John Legend all made appearances. The actor Hugh Jackman served as master of ceremonies for Friday's meeting inside a sports arena named after Walmart co-founder Bud Walton. To the cheers of thousands of spectators, the actor Tom Cruise took the stage to praise Walmart's global reach.
Very pleased to be here. I truly admire your company. You know, and the more I learn about everything that you do, I'm inspired by what you all create every day, you know, because your company, and I'm sure you all know this, but it is a role model for how business can address some of the biggest issues facing our world, you know, in ways big and small. And all around the globe, Walmart is taking the lead and making a difference. And that's something I really admire. You know, what this company does is it's using its size and scale to improve women's lives across the world.
But amidst the celebration of Walmart, there also came protests. The group Our Walmart brought its demand for the company to commit to giving workers full-time employment and a minimum salary of $25,000 a year. Around 100 striking workers staged a series of actions after arriving in a caravan from across the country. They've walked off the job in Florida, Massachusetts, California to protest what they allege to be worker retaliation against those seeking to change company practices on wages, worker safety, and unions. Although small in size, it's Walmart's longest strike to date. Inside the shareholders meeting, the workers and activists took advantage of a brief window to present non-binding resolutions before thousands of their colleagues, as well as the company's top executives. The measures were all defeated because the founding Walton family still owns more than half the company's stock. Janet Sparks, a Louisiana Walmart employee, drew applause when she compared the wages of struggling U.S. workers to CEO Mike Duke's $20.7 million paycheck.
We all know that times are tough for many of our customers, but I want you to know that times are tough for many Walmart associates too. We are stretching our paychecks to pay our bills and support our families. So when I think about the fact that our CEO, Mike Duke, made over $20 million last year, more than 1,000 times the average Walmart associate, with all due respect, I have to say, I don't think that's right.
Also speaking out there was Kalpana Akhtar, a workers' rights activist from Bangladesh. She urged Walmart to stop projecting new safety standards after the Dhaka building collapse that killed over 1,100 workers in April. Kalpana Akhtar made a direct appeal to Walmart chair Rob Walton.
Mr. Rob Walton, I'm sure you know that these fixing buildings would cause just a tiny friction of your family walls. So I implore to you, please help us. You have the power to do this very easily. Don't you agree that the factories where Walmart products are made should be safe for the workers? For years, every time there is an accident, Walmart officials have made promises to improve the terrible conditions in my country's garment factories, but the tragedies continue. With all due respect, the time for empty promises is over.
Walmart is one of only a few major retailers that have refused to sign on to the new safety standards after the Dhaka tragedy. For more, we're joined now by Kalpana Akhtar herself, just back from attending the Walmart meeting, executive director of the Bangladesh Center for Worker Solidarity. She started work in garment factories when she was 12. She's currently in the United States to call on retailers like Walmart, The Gap, and Disney to take the lead on improving working conditions in Bangladesh. And we're joined by Scott Nova, executive director of the Worker Rights Consortium, which investigates working conditions in the factories around the world. We contacted Walmart to join us, but they said they were unavailable. The Gap did not respond to our request for an interview. Kalpana Akhtar, what about the response to what you had to say in the Walmart shareholders meeting?
The response was, I would say, it was zero.
which was expected, because this Walton will not get back to you when it is come the time to pay the workers or improve the working conditions. So they didn't respond at all. But our point was the people need to be heard. These Waltons and the Walmart other shareholders, they should know from us, from the first-hand information, that what's really going on there. They shouldn't just close their eyes and say, or just wash their hand and say that, oh, we didn't know that, or it wasn't our fault. It was our sourcer who was killing these workers back home.
Well, Walmart said no one from the company was able to join us today, but they sent us a statement that said, quote, some media reports have given the impression there was production for Walmart happening in Rana Plaza at the time of the tragic building collapse. That's wrong. Our investigation after the collapse revealed no evidence of authorized or unauthorized production at the time of the tragedy. Meanwhile, in May, Walmart announced it would terminate its contract with Canadian jeans maker Fame Jeans. After documents surfaced, the company ordered pants from inside Rana Plaza. So are these satisfactory steps to you?
It is not. I mean, first, they are sourcing from the outsourcer, and when it is come to say that, yes, our products were there, now they are just saying that, oh, we are cutting the contact with our sourcing companies. I mean, definitely this is not a satisfactory answer for us. Well, the Walmart should take responsibility. They were producing their clothes in Rana Plaza, but not in the time when the factory collapsed. But they had connection. They could even improve this factory condition. They could prevent this death, and Rana collapse would be even prevented.
There was the fire, and then there was the building collapse. 2 different buildings, 2 different workplaces. Yes. Did Walmart refer to any officially from the stage at the shareholders meeting?
It was, I was surprised that they haven't said any word about this fire and about this building collapse.
How many people died in the fire?
In the fire, in Tazreen fashion fire, it has killed 112 workers and left hundreds injured. And in Rana Plaza, it killed 1,127 and left more than 600 or 700 injured for a lifetime. And in that shareholder meeting, they haven't even given any condolence for those families. They haven't felt sad. No word for those.
Scott Nova, the wider picture here. Can you talk about how companies like Walmart and others use subcontractors to employ people in places like Dhaka?
Sure. Well, it's crucial to understand Walmart and the other big Western retailers didn't stumble into a worker safety crisis in Bangladesh. They helped to cause that crisis by placing tremendous pressure on their contract suppliers in Bangladesh to produce for ever lower prices, giving them overwhelming incentive to reduce production costs by ignoring safety standards. This is the fundamental reason why workers are dying in Bangladesh in factories producing for companies like Walmart.
What are the safety standards that are being proposed that the Gap and Walmart have not signed on to, but other corporations like H&M have?
Well, for the first time in the contemporary history of the global apparel industry, major brands and retailers have signed a binding, enforceable agreement under which they must pay to carry out building renovations, repairs, and retrofitting necessary to turn these death trap factories into safe structures. H&M, the biggest producer in Bangladesh, has signed. Carrefour, the second largest global retailer after Walmart, has signed. Inditex, the biggest fashion retailer, has signed. But Walmart and Gap refuse to make these binding commitments to clean up their factories in Bangladesh and make them safe.
What are the commitments, and who wrote this contract?
The agreement was developed by non-governmental organizations and both global and Bangladeshi labor unions. Under the agreement, the brands and retailers must open their factories up to independent inspections by competent safety experts with full public reports of all inspections, and then they must compel the factories to carry out any and all building repairs and renovations necessary to address safety hazards and make the buildings safe, installing fire exits, which most of these buildings don't have, to offer a critical example. They must then cease doing business with any factory that refuses to undertake these repairs and renovations, except the critical point, the brands and retailers have to pay for the repairs and renovations. They can't place the burden purely on the factory. And if the factories will take the money and undertake the renovations and operate safely, then the brands and retailers have to stay and continue to produce at those factories and support the factory and support the workers.
And what would it mean if Walmart signed on?
Walmart is the second biggest producer in Bangladesh after H&M. Walmart's refusal to participate means that there are hundreds of factories and tens of thousands of workers that are outside the protective scope of this accord, which means that the safety hazards in those factories won't be addressed, the safety of those workers won't be protected.
These are some of the voices of workers shortly after the Rana Plaza disaster who said the factory owners forced them to go to work even after they found massive cracks in the building's walls.
We didn't want to go up in the factory this morning, but the management forced us to go up and said there was no problem with the building. Just after that, I sat on my table to work, and the building just collapsed. I couldn't even leave. I was trapped at my table.
I started my work at 8 this morning. At about 9:30, I suddenly heard a strange sound, and I saw the building was collapsing. I then ran through a stairwell and jumped down. I lost consciousness, but I was rescued by others.
Inside at about 9:10 a.m., the building collapsed, and we were trapped inside since then, and up to now. It is 10:18 p.m. 11 hours we were trapped. We did not want to enter the building, but the owners pushed us to get in and work.
Some of the voices of those workers who escaped the Rana Plaza collapse. I wanted to go to what Walmart and the Gap, these two, and I'm sorry that they wouldn't join us, but are saying about not signing on to this contract that other multinational corporations are signing on to.
Right. Well, one of Walmart's most astonishing excuses, their claim is that the inspections they themselves do with no transparency or accountability will be a faster mechanism for protecting worker safety in Bangladesh. This from a company that has been producing in Bangladesh for nearly a quarter of a century, and during that time has done nothing to protect the safety of workers. Gap's main argument is some abstruse claim about supposed legal liability that they face. It's a trumped-up claim. Gap's real concern is that they don't want to pay the costs of repairing these buildings and making them safe. But even if there is legal liability, the question for Gap is, are they saying that workers in Bangladesh should continue to die so Gap can be protected from litigation? That appears to be their position.
And since we just played these voices from the Rana Plaza, Kalpuna, again, the documents that surfaced, 3 weeks after, because Walmart was called, they said, we are not making clothing in this factory now.
Yeah, I mean, we found that documents in the rubble, and my colleagues and me, we went there and we found that, and it is clearly says that FameJeans, one of the outsourcing of Walmart was sourcing clothes from EtherTax. A factory was located in Rana Plaza, and there were when I saw the email relevant to FameJeans and Walmart, I called the person. There was a merchandiser. I called personally to that person to be confirmed that Walmart was there, and he confirmed, yes, the Walmart was sourcing from our company last year.
We're going to continue this conversation and talk also about Walmart workers in the United States. Kalpana Akhtar, Bangladesh Center for Worker Solidarity is her organization, Scott Nova Worker Rights Consortium. And when I come back, Josh Idelson will also be joining us, talking about Walmart workers in the United States. Stay with us.